All right. Y'all ready, Sam? Y'all good? All right. Well, welcome everybody to the June 18th, 2024 meeting at 6 o'clock. If I could call this meeting to order, can I get approval of the agenda, please?
So much, Chair.
Second.
Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
It's our great pleasure tonight to have Don Graham, EMA Director, to open this up.
We can do it. Meant to do it 2 weeks ago, but Sam had to. Jump in line. That's it. All right, let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us together today. Inspire us to worthy deeds and sound decisions, and direct us towards the attainment of our goals. We pray that you will bless and protect all the good citizens here in Jones County. Guide us on the path to unity and harmony always. All this we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wow. This is hard here. Happy retirement, Don.
I appreciate it. I appreciate
For
that.
15 years of service, you give the people of Jones County your tireless work ethic and professionalism has been an asset to the county and fire department that we say thank you. May you enjoy peace as you follow God's plan for all your future endeavors. July 12th, 2024. Like I said, we're losing a good man. We got a lot of memories. I told you a while ago, we've had a lot of memories. I mean, you go way back, and like I said, what you've done for this community, we can't thank you enough.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you giving me the tools to do my job. You can't say it any better than that.
All right, board, you want to recognize him together?
Absolutely.
Happy board. I appreciate it. Happy retirement. Turn my head on.
Thanks, guys.
Let me give you, Don, let me give you this box.
Yes, sir. That's very good. Thank you. We finished?
You can change your mind.
I really gotta go. I got another appointment, and I'm sorry. Karen will be giving a report at the end.
Y'all see how it is? So I gotta go, y'all. It's been fun.
I'm very serious, and I appreciate it. I
We
appreciate it
thank you.
a whole lot.
Thank you, Don. We're gonna
I
miss you.
didn't have enough clothes to wear tonight, to be honest.
You done packed for Florida?
I know how to socks. I'm serious. Everything's packed.
You are gonna stay in touch, right?
Yes. I got the same telephone number.
Same phone number. And we're on the beach?
4.1 miles.
Oh. Good
Send us your
deal.
address too. We'll show up.
Shannon's got it already.
She got it already?
We didn't get a word from them today?
I haven't got anything yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Thank you.
See you then. You get your seat back. That's great. All right. We'll move on. Consent agenda and approval for the minutes. We had the first Tuesday of June 4th, 2024. If y'all had an opportunity to review the minutes, I'd entertain a motion.
Motion to approve. Second.
Second. Any more discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. All right, we got a visitor tonight, Mr. Alan Woodrum.
How y'all doing?
How you doing, Mr. Allen?
I'm Alan Woodrum. I live at 180 Hardy Chapel Lane, Alpha 18 here in Jones County. And I just got a couple of questions I was trying to get an answer to. I want to know why Jones County doesn't give the exemption for school tax. I was told by a couple board members here that look forward to do it. A friend of mine is actually the one that told me about it from another state, or from another county when he retired. That being said, I went to the assessors meeting because I thought maybe that's where I could at least get answers, but I got very little answers. They don't do it. They said that you guys do it. You have to vote to do that, even though there is a form on their website that looks like you fill it out and for exemption. It doesn't mean anything. Jones County doesn't do that. So I said, why don't they do it? Still can't get an answer. All I'm after is an answer. If we're not, we're not. But, you know, why can't we do that? Then I asked, I was told that when you get 65, okay, you get some kind of an extended homestead exemption. I don't know really what that is. I'll find out. But you got to have your W-2s and all that kind of stuff to be able to do it. So being retired and not having a W-2, I had to wait till I got my income tax done. And then once I did that, it's too late for this year, so I got to wait till next year. And that's okay. I can do that. But my question was, I'll be 68. When a person turns 65 in Jones County, how do they know what benefits they get? Now, I was told by I'm not even sure who he was. He was not part of the board. Tell him to call up here. To me, that's not an answer. The gentleman that was on the board asked me for an input. You send a bill out every year. Can't you put something on there saying at 65 check? I mean, there's a lot of people that pay taxes in Jones County that aren't lawyers, that don't know the questions to ask. Okay, and so I guess that's what I'm asking. What do we do? I'm from the old school. I'm going to keep asking until I get an answer. If I got to go to Washington D.C., and I hope not, because I don't want to be there, but I need an answer. I want an answer. Just I don't have to agree with the answer. I ask, what do I get for my taxes on some? I just really wanted to know. Out where I live, we get the Public Works fix the dirt road. Love the dirt road. Don't even care to have it paved. Love the dirt road. But I live so far out in the county. If somebody breaks in your house, you better have a gun, because it'd take the sheriff and forever to get out there. So that's my question. That's my two questions. I got an answer partially to what I get from my taxes, and I guess that'll have to suffice. But I want to know what can be done about people here in Jones County who are 65. When you retire, a lot of people, when they retire, they live off Social Security. Okay, I was fortunate enough to be able to put some money back, but a lot of people, when they retire, they live on Social Security. And when property values go up, not even arguing that. I'm not arguing the property values going up. But when property values go up, their taxes go up. But guess what don't go up? The money they get. Everybody says, how's the government going to do things for the public? Well, how does the public do things for the government when you run out of money? And I guess that's what I'm asking. I would like an answer to where do I need to go from here on the issue of the school tax.
If I can start off with that, so you're partly correct as far as coming to this board. Mr. Risner, you want to, you talked with Clint Mueller, had emails with him. Could you explain what you had found out?
So I reached out to ACCG and some of their people that deal with tax policy. They sent me some information regarding how this whole process works and how new exemptions come into being. And so back in 2002, there was a bill that went through the Georgia General Assembly for homestead exemption for education tax purposes in the amount of $15,000 if you're over 62 years of age. And so they didn't have anything on record, and I don't know of anything that would have done away with that. So to our knowledge, that's still in effect. The way that any additional exemptions would come to be is that there would have to be a new bill introduced in the General Assembly. If there was a desire to do more than 15,000 or some different type of exemption, a bill has to go through the General Assembly. It's not required, but generally the legislative delegation is going to want the support of the school board before they would introduce something, impacting their revenue. And so it would take a resolution of this board basically requesting that our legislative delegation introduce a bill exempting taxes for, you mentioned 65, for example.
I think that's what it was, what it says.
Or whatever age the board saw fit, and that legislator is going to want to make sure that the school board's on board. They would introduce a bill. It would work its way through the legislative process, be signed by the governor, and then there would be a referendum for the voters of Jones County to actually make the final decision on whether to grant an additional exemption. So that's kind of how that whole process works, hopefully that's helpful.
At least that's more information than I had.
Sure. And like I said, when you and I talked, and I reached out to Mr. Resner, and like I said, Clint Mueller is the one that our go-to with ACCG, because he's the man when it comes to those, and that's what Jason was coming up with, because I didn't know either. It was news for me.
Well, when I heard it, I mean, and then I looked at the tax assessor's website, and the forms on there. I thought, my goodness, it must be something that we do. So then when I got down here, I said, all I got was, no, we don't do that. And you have to go to the county commissioners. So,
Mr. Wood, something?
Yeah, I appreciate you coming tonight. This is the first time I've heard of your situation, but I can tell you from another family in Haddock, unrelated to this, that I know they sold their property or house in Haddock, and then they were looking, where do we move in Middle Georgia? They were older, retiring, that sort of thing, and they talked with me, and they went to Baldwin County, and there's some type of school exemption that Baldwin County offers, and I'm waiting to see what the form is. They were going to get it for me, but Jones County doesn't offer that. It's something.
I think it's the same one.
It may be the same
I think
one
Baldwin County does it.
Right, there's a certain exemption.
I know
that-
Brunswick does it, because that's where a friend of mine lives that told me, said, be sure to get your,
Right,
fill
but
out
it's
for that.
It's a second level, like it's 65.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure the level, how much exemption it would give, but
Don't know.
every bit helps
Yeah.
with these taxes. But it's something maybe this board can look into. It may be a simple resolution this board can vote, or it may have to go to state legislature. I'm not sure. But we need to look into it and see what relief we can give to these taxpayers. They're above 65.
My question is, if the state's already put this into work, why wouldn't it automatically be?
That was my question. Are we
Yeah.
giving the $15,000 deduction or not?
I think that one's at 62, and then there's another one at 65, maybe.
But he's saying he's not eligible for it at all at 68. So
Well,
he's past 62.
There's something now, to be honest, there's something that I found out after 65 that I would have been eligible for at 62. But I mean, I was 65 then.
Right.
And so when I said, okay, well, let me do it. Well, you can't do it until you get a W-2 form and you get this and you get that. Okay, fine. But I'm just saying that there needs to be a way for people to know what's out there. And if the majority of people are not going to call down here. I'm not going to call down here. I mean, you guys got much too much to do for me to call down here and ask you questions, But there should be a way for the common person to know it. I guarantee you know what your tax bill is, because it comes out every year, and it ain't no beating around the bush about it.
And that may be something to look into is sending that with our tax bill, what options there are. And
Yes.
putting it on our website. Not everybody goes to the websites, but that is a free way to get it if you're online, so.
Yep, I mean, I went to the websites and looked only after, I mean, I would have never even dreamed to go to it because I didn't know anything about it, you know what I mean? I mean, I've paid them all my life. And you just, I guess my daddy says you're gonna pay taxes till you die. That's one thing.
Same thing my daddy said.
But, you know, and I can kind of feel for people because I know, you know, money gets tight. Money's tight for the county. I understand that. And they need what they do. No wonder people panic. When I got my tax notice, my wife went through the roof and I said, no, don't worry. This is not what it's going to be. You know, they hadn't set the millage rate yet. And that's when I talked with you. I mean, I already knew that. They hadn't set the millage rate yet. But most people don't even look at them. They just put them over at the side until it's time to pay them. Anyway, whatever you can do, I mean, I want to see it through to the end. I'm not going to quit asking questions. I'm not going to quit until we get an answer of what does Jones County offer. And that's all I'm saying. If I don't have to agree with it, I don't, but I do feel like I have to know it.
I just did a quick search, and there are about 15 counties that have a myriad of exemptions, and one starts at 62, and in Cherokee County, they exempt the first 400,000, right? So that one's kind of different. Cobb County, DeKalb County, and a few others exempt 100% of the home's value. So it just depends on which county, and if we decide to go this path or direction, whether we choose a dollar amount or we choose a total exemption, and the ages range from 62 all the way up to 70. So just an FYI.
Okay.
Stay
I
involved.
appreciate it.
We'd love to see you in this meeting twice a month. You see, we got some seats available.
No, you don't. You don't want to see me in it.
Yeah, we do. We need people to keep us accountable, and you need to, you know.
Well, you know,
we need input.
I don't know anything about government. I mean, don't really want to know. But I don't, but you know, I worked for 45 years as a maintenance and engineering manager. Was on call for 45 years. I'm enjoying being retired. It doesn't mean I wouldn't help with something, but you know, I enjoy being retired. But I was always taught. My daddy, you know, you get your foundation from your parents. And my daddy was a guy, if he gave you his word, he'd go to the grave with it. I was raised to do that. Don't settle for anything other than the answer. Now, be prepared to get the answer because you may not like it, but it's the answer. And that's all I'm asking. And I will, until we find out something here, and I appreciate the information, it's more than I got. I mean, I want to keep pushing until we either say, no, we're not going to do it, we're going to do this or do that or whatever it is. But anyway, I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you for coming. All right, we move on to new business. We got FY25 budget, Public Defender's Office.
For those of you who know Mr. Bradley, you know I'm not him. I'm Kevin Stroberg. I'm the Chief Assistant Public Defender. I work out of this office here, so that's why I'm here. Here to answer questions. You guys have the paperwork that John sent. Effectively, we're asking for $13,000 roughly less this year than we were last year, and that's primarily due to the census and some offset funds.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Second. Any more discussion? None, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye, thank you.
We appreciate it.
All right.
Tell John you've done a great job. No questions asked. All right, boys, y'all get ready.
That's really hard to follow it. I know everybody here, so I want to just tell you, first off, how much I appreciate the support that this board has given us, and also how accessible you've all been, including the county manager, who basically has an open door policy, and I know most of you do as well. I am asking that our budget remain the same, with the exception of two things, and before I start there, I want to give you just an update about where we are so far this year. And I'm happy to report that the Okmulgee Judicial Circuit, which I claim to be the largest circuit in the state of Georgia, we've not had one homicide in the entire circuit all year. Now, that's not just because of the DA's office. We've got a small piece in that puzzle. There's a lot of players involved, but I think it's a testament to the support that our local partners like you have given, a true measure of the law enforcement and judges that we have here in the circuit. So with that, I'll tell you that the first thing I'm asking for is a $10,000 increase to our state-paid assistant district attorney, that being Care Fiore. For the last probably 2 decades, and you'd have to go back and look, there has been a local county supplement that Jones County and most of the other counties have given. Some have given it more recently, but Jones County's been a good partner for us going all the way back to Fred Bright. So about 20 years, there's been a $5,000 supplement awarded or given by the county to the state-paid ADA. And I'm asking that that number be increased by a total of $10,000. And one of the things that I've known, and I want you to know too, that each one of the counties this year, the DA's office is being a little more aggressive in what we're doing, what we're asking for. Typically, it's been pretty flat line traditionally. Morgan County granted my request. Morgan County increased our supplement from the $5,000 to the $15,000. And I asked for a lot of Morgan County. They've also funded a victim advocate position for us and increased our budget as to our operating budget. But I want, if you look at our letter, what you're going to notice is that we've got Bibb County next door to us. We've got Walton County above us, Athens, and Metro not too far away. But Bibb County, for example, is Care Fiore left Bibb County, and the DA offered her $20,000 more to stay. Now, fortunately for me on that, the quality of life and work environment persuaded her to still come. We are certainly not a perfect office, but I'll tell you that if you look at our budget for the last 24 months, you're going to notice that the DA's office has had a surplus. And the reason for that is over the last 24 months, we've gone the majority of that time without our state-paid county reimbursed position. That has been a revolving door since Faith Worley left our office. We've had the job posted multiple occasions, and finally I went to Miss Levita Crutchfield and Jason and said, look, I can't fill it. I'd like to try to think outside the box, and what we've done on 2 separate occasions is basically given a small, like $1,000 a month to a third-year Mercer Law student to come in and have basically a paid internship with the hope that it would work out so that we could hire somebody. We're taking a much more aggressive approach in our internship programs and opportunities to try to cultivate young attorneys to come to us. And that gets me to the second piece, which is I'm asking that our state-paid county reimbursed position go up to from $58,000 to $72,000. If you remember, I believe the one financial increase that I asked for since becoming DA, I came in here and asked for more money for Faith Worley, and y'all gave that. It went from $5,000 to $9,000. She's now with the Attorney General's office and doing well, and we're happy for her. But we believe, looking across the state, if we're going to attract qualified candidates, we're struggling just to get a warm body with a pulse that isn't a serial killer to come in here, honestly. And that's sad, but that's quite frankly the reality of the situation. My expectations as your district attorney are very, very high for the office and services we provide, and it frustrates me at times. And I have Mr. Stroberg's behind me. He probably shares some frustrations from time to time from the standpoint of what we expect from our attorneys and staff and what we're actually getting sometimes. But when you look at the fact that both the DA's office and public defender's office across the state are putting 28-year-olds, 29-year-olds responsible for major cases, and not to get personal, but Commissioner Martin had a young ADA here in Jones County take a case, and the outcome wasn't great. It just wasn't. It wasn't to my standard, and I don't think it was to your standard. I want the best here, and I believe that to do that, we're going to have the same approach that we had with the sheriff's office and with other places, and it's going to take a commitment. I'll tell you that the money's saved over the last 2 years. If you look at my letter and you look at your budgets, y'all have probably saved a surplus of over $100,000 because of our inability to hire. And Cara Fiore went out on maternity leave. And if you pay attention to the newspaper, what you would have found from about November of last year all the way to about March is my name being mentioned in very ordinary, routine matters in the criminal, on the criminal calendar and matters that were being handled. And that's because I personally got in there and made sure that this office was running efficiently. I'll tell you that we've got probably 20 unindicted, unaccused cases at the moment, which is remarkable. But we've done that by working with our local partners, and I've basically been carrying a caseload myself, which I don't mind. I try cases and I'm hands-on. But for the future, we are going to have to make these investments to remain competitive. And obviously, with the public defender's office coming up and saying that they want less money makes my position maybe harder, but I'll just tell you that's what we're trying to do, and I'm going to each and every county and asking for these increases. So I'll be happy to answer any questions you have about what we've been doing, and also answer any questions that you may have about the specific requests that I've asked for.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Martin.
For the supplement, are you asking every county for 15,000?
I'm asking for Putnam, Greene. So I've already done budget letters for Morgan. They awarded that for me. I am asking for Jones, Putnam, Greene, Baldwin. Baldwin's budget has not been completed. Jasper County, I split the baby. And what I mean by that is there's an ADA that's state paid that handles Jasper and Wilkinson County. And so the way that my mind worked was ask for half of that increase from Jasper and half of that increase from Wilkinson. Wilkinson already gives, I don't want to get too far in the details there, Wilkinson gives us $20,000, but we handle probate court for them. And I give almost all of that money to that ADA. So he's already getting a larger supplement than I do from all 8 counties, just from Wilkinson. Hancock County, I'm going to be very blunt with you, and I'm going to ask for help from Hancock County. But Hancock County is probably, if not the poorest, one of the poorest counties in the state of Georgia. Most of y'all have heard me say this. You know, my grandfather was a county commissioner for 20 plus years, and I will tell you that what I'm going to do, no matter the decision of this board, is I'm going to wake up every single day and give it everything I got. Because I live right up the road from here, and I absolutely love this county. I love all my counties, and I don't want to get in trouble, and I don't want other people to hear me say it, but my kids lay their heads down in this county, and my kids walk the halls of this school. So I'm not going to ever lay down and not do the very best. And if that means me working 7 days a week, that's what I'm going to do. But your assistance, your help, and support, continued support, will hopefully enable me to not just get somebody here, but to get quality here and hopefully keep them here.
And just clarifying, 75,000 is above what the current salary is.
I'm asking for 72, not 75.
Okay.
Right now, the state of Georgia is paying starting out at $58,000. That's what they're paying. The difference maker is, if you look at Bibb County, really what the state is, I want to back up. Where we are as a state, in the world of prosecution, and quite frankly, more than likely the public defender's office, is Metro, and I'll say Metro to include Savannah, Macon, Augusta, Columbus, and Metro Atlanta. The local supplements are what is causing, quite frankly, a brain drain to the more rural, smaller circuits, because the salary starts at 58, but they're given supplements, and the counties are given a ton of county positions as well that are just, we can't compete. And what we want to do is we want to attract the very best. And I think to do that, it's very difficult to look a law student in the eyes at Mercer that's just accumulated $100,000 in student debt and say, hey, come to work for us for $58,000. It just, you can get somebody, but what are you getting? Because when they're paying $800 in student debt and trying to pay a rent and car note, it's just very difficult. It's a difficult sell.
So I wanted to kind of piggyback off Delon's question. So you're wanting to go from 58 to 72, not the 72 you're asking from all the districts per DA or ADA. So that's per
Back up.
county.
Back up. Jones County gives us a state paid, county reimbursed. To give you the history on that, Keegan Goodrich was an ADA here. Keegan Waystack. She was a fully county funded employee. And I've got some of those. The other ones are in Putnam, Greene, and Baldwin. Baldwin right now is paying our county funded ADA 74. Now she's got a little more experience, quite frankly. The other two are brand new attorneys, and they've started one out at 62 and some change, and the other one at 64. The difference is this, and maybe we can achieve it. Maybe this is more digestible, it's easier to digest, but Putnam and Greene, when the county's employees get a 4% raise, my county funded attorneys get a 4% raise. Since Keegan Goodrich left, and it was kind of a wild time how that happened. I'm not going to get in too far in the weeds, but the county came back with Fred Bright, and they, in Jones County, created a state-paid, county reimbursed. And what that does for that position is the state isn't going to give that employee any raises. And the county isn't going to give that person any raises unless I came and asked for it. It's just stuck. And so you're not really a state employee and you're not really a county employee. And so what we ended up with is we would hire somebody and they just kind of be froze at the salary that they're at. Whereas the other ones are catching these raises on a pretty regular basis. So the 72 is the assigned attorney that hopefully will fill this vacant position.
Okay.
And I'm asking to go from 58 to 72.
That's the question I was asking. Not 72 from every county
No.
to add to the 58.
No.
Yeah,
No, no,
okay.
no.
That's where I was making
No.
sure that it wasn't going from 58 to 135.
No, sir.
Or 140
No,
or whatever.
sir.
So, the other question might be for Jason. When we did the salary study and right size and everything, we didn't include any of these state paid positions like this, right?
Correct.
Chairman, if you'll bide me for a minute here, I want to make a couple of comments. I happen to know a person that's well involved with most of the DAs and public defenders in the state of Georgia, and they will tell you by far Jones County is the largest land mass travel-wise, not Jones County, our district, our circuit, as far as these DAs and public defenders traveling to hear cases on a daily basis. Largest travel time by far, lowest paid by far, but the highest quality by far. Those three things are kind of like our economics 101 in the world right now. They don't add up of how you can keep good people and not pay them much and ask them to do more with less. So I'm going to toot their horn for them, because I will say that since I've been on this board, Wright has brought us every year and said, I'll stay the same, I'll stay the same, I'll stay the same. Or at the end of the year, if he's got a little left in his budget, it's turned back over, it's rolled over, however. It's not, let me hurry up and use it because it's the end of the year, which I've seen in my career many times. So I think we got to have, first of all, we've made decisions in this county in the last 5 years to get quality at the right cost. We've made an example out of all of our employees to bring them to a fair market value, bring them to a fair grade for their tenure. And I think that's something we hadn't done with positions like this. I think, all those things rolled together, I think warrants his request. Now, whether we approve it or not, it'd be up to the vote, but just for my 2 cents worth, I think his request is valid and warranted, even though it does seem percentage-wise, people will go, oh my gosh, how did we pay somebody that big of a jump at one time? Well, if people will remember, when we did our salary study, the lowest paid person in our county was a minimum of 12% underpaid. So we started at a 12% underpaid. They hadn't been touched in all that payout. So I just want to make that clear that he's had a quality department with very little to work with in a huge circuit. And he's right. We're not in the newspaper except for good things. And that's where I want to stay.
I appreciate that.
Mr. Wood, any comment?
I just appreciate the 125% effort that Wright and his office and his staff, because I see him up here after hours. I see him on Sunday mornings, Saturday mornings, when everybody else may be at church or at the vacation place or wherever they may be. But I see him up here, parks right by the front door, close by, and he's busy. And I know he's doing his job 110%, and I think we owe it to him and his staff.
Is this to be looked at now and decided on our budget, or does he need an answer tonight
So we've got these three that are
on July 1?
tied to the state's calendar, and so that's why we're going ahead and doing them.
Gotcha. The only other question, Chairman, you're not through yet because you had another one in request in your, about the,
Sure,
Admin.
and she would be ashamed of me to have missed that, but basically, Michaela Freeman is our administrative assistant, and anything, she's a county-funded employee, and she's 22 years old, but I'm going to tell you, she's really done a fantastic job for us, and not to belabor the point, we have some grant-funded employees through a VOCA grant. And it was cut last year from over 350,000 down to about 170. And if you notice, if you ever walk in our office, you're not going to see somebody sitting at that front desk, and that's because we lost that position and we added more on Michaela's plate and Kristen Dupree's plate. And so any raises that the county employee gets, I just ask that she be treated the same. That's all I'm going to ask for her. She's a bright young lady and doing a fine job.
Only fair.
Yeah.
Commissioner Kitchens, you've already started. Do you want to?
If no more questions or motions at all, I'll be glad to, Chairman.
Yes.
All right, I
Any
make
more?
a motion, we approve the request of the DA.
Second.
Second. Any more discussion? None, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Thank you all
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you.
Thank you. Mr. Risner, you've got a 8th District Circuit FY 25.
And so this is kind of the third piece of this. The 8th Judicial Administrative District, it includes the judicial circuit that Wright was talking about and a couple others. So it's a larger geographic area, and they provide different services related to the courts. The one substantial change on this is that, so a number of years ago, they went to a different system of paying court-appointed lawyers, and so they handle all that now, and we don't have to deal with lots of invoices every month from court-appointed attorneys. So now they're going to somewhat of a similar setup when it comes to court reporters. And so the amount this year is some higher because the court reporter payments will flow through them. So we'll just cut a single check to the 8th Judicial Administrative District, and then they'll pay out the court reporters. So there's an increase due to that, but other than that, there's a technology related component that's gone up just a little bit, but other than that, it's pretty consistent with what we've seen in past years.
Any question for Mr. Risner on?
One question that I don't know if you know that. So when we did all the court reporting by contract, they did everything involved, not just stenography in the courtroom, editing, making sure that everything was right, presenting it for sign-off, saying that it's good and it's ready to go in the record. Is that, who's going to do that? I mean, are we still going to do that exactly the same way, or?
So I assume all that would be handled the same. I've talked to Pam some, and the judge will sign off on the invoice presented by the court reporter. So the court reporter is going to present an invoice based on the actual services they provide, and I assume all those services will be just what they're doing now. The judge is there kind of overseeing what that person does and signs off on that, and then it'll go to the 8th district for payment. So.
And I feel sure our judges have crossed that T and dotted that I. Just wanted to make sure that we were comparing apples to apples, because it is a little bit more cost, but we understand that cost is going up, whether it's internal or contracted. But
Right.
I just want to make sure that we're getting the exact same service, and not a service that we get a part of it and then a job has to still be done that now is resting on one of our county employees or one of our court employees.
No, my understanding is that all of that will remain the same. It'll be a big help internally
Okay.
for our operation not to have to deal with all those individual invoices.
Any other questions for Mr. Risner?
You mentioned relatively unchanged. Any idea proximity of the dollar amount? I couldn't find it.
I don't know off the top of my head.
It's all right. I know they're normally very frugal. I was just curious because I couldn't find it either.
I can get that and send it to you.
Appreciate it.
Mr. Wood, any questions for Mr.?
No questions.
We'll need some action on this.
Well, one more question, Chairman, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
sure.
Jason, on the last paragraph, it talked about a significant change that the Board of Court Reporting would be discussing in theirs. Do you know how that vote came out?
I don't. I think the conversation there was they were going to change their regular rate. The court reporters, and I don't know how that whole process works exactly, but they are collectively, I think, deciding to go up on the rate. The impression I got from all that was that we were going to get that one way or the other. That was going to happen no matter what happens with how they're paid. I think.
Yeah.
Now, there may be more going on there that I don't know about, but.
And that's just that is sticker shock to me, that increase. And I don't know how, I completely understand unfunded mandates. I completely understand them. But they don't come without questions, and they don't come without concerns from us. I think that's our obligation, and I think, you know, I don't want to feel like this is the cart before the horse, but hey, are we changing the way we're doing things, and we're just going to sign off on an invoice? And not the judges, because they've looked at the process of it, but how this is coming down from the court reporting association. And then we're going to change our fee structure. That's problematic for me.
And I agree, and that's why I asked the question, because I just did some basic math on the low end of the number. It's an increase to $79,200. Then the next question is, are we splitting that based on our percentage of contribution to each of the counties?
Yeah, so my understanding is, you know, they did the percentage, you know, based on the population.
Right.
So, so all of it gets divvied up based on population.
So we'll have roughly 17% responsibility of roughly 80,000. So a little less than 16,000, 14,000. All right.
Okay, so
That is divided then.
Oh, no, I just multiplied the percentage.
Okay.
17% Jones County
I got you.
times the 79 on the low end.
Okay.
And that's not including the $8 per transcript page fee.
So I guess I'm looking to see what we're approving, because in the letter that we have, the judge signed, they have some concerns, and it's basically the same, some of the same that I was just talking about. Whether it takes into account review and approval of invoices at the county level this time. So if the judges are doing that, if that has been decided and they're okay with that, but it looks like this letter says we have those concerns, and our signature indicates we have concerns, not our signature indicates that we're in full approval of what y'all are about to approve or not approve. So that was my clarity question, I guess, is are we approving that it's going to happen, but the judges have concerns, and we need to figure out how those concerns are addressed?
No, it reads, we don't want you to have sticker shock when it happens. It's going to happen.
Right.
We don't want you to have sticker shock. That's exactly what it says.
That's the way I read it too.
Yeah, just making sure. And it's not that we have much choice, you know, because at the end of the day, it's the court, and the last thing we want to do is be in court with the court about
This is
an
true.
unfunded mandate. So motion to approve.
And you're absolutely right, but these cameras and these videos
don't disagree with you.
help that situation, and I'll second that motion.
All right, we have a motion to second from Commissioner Kitchen. Any more discussion?
I was just going to make a note that for the audience, it makes reference in here, the last time it was changed was in 2015, so you have 9 years since the last change of these rates.
Right.
So I think it's reasonable.
Right.
All right.
Any more discussion? None, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Mr. Risner, you're up again to Transit TPO agreement extension.
So on your desk there, you have a simple one-page contract extension with our transit third-party operator, and that is the Middle Georgia Community Action Agency. So we're in the process now of bidding that out, as we're required to do every 5 years. And it's a lengthy, complicated bid process because there are FTA funds involved. And so we're working our way through that whole process. While that all plays out, we'd like to add 3 months to the current contract with Middle Georgia Community Action Agency, and that's what this extension does.
Remind me, Jason, it's about 170-something thousand a year?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so roughly $15,000 a month?
Yes.
Extension,
Mhm.
okay. All right, motion to approve.
Second.
Second with Commissioner Wood. Any more discussion? None, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it again. Liberty Park, additional funding.
So, Mr. Chairman, thank you. So we continue to work on the Liberty Park project. We've, since this was originally put together some years ago, there have been quite a few changes. The two primary ones being pricing has, skyrocketed on everything. And then the other change that we've dealt with on this is at the beginning of this project, and during the application process, there were a lot of things that we identified that we thought we could do in-house. And as we've gotten into this and we've had various changes, we realized that those aren't things that we can do in-house. And so, I'm coming before you tonight, asking for $150,000 additional dollars to come from our capital reserves, so that we can finish that project, and we should be able to wrap up, it'll wrap up later this year.
Chairman, I've kind of been in conversations with Jason since my district, and I've been, following the project, and was in from the beginning, and he's right. There were previous leadership in certain positions felt like we could do certain things in-house. We probably could, but to me, it's a matter of if we should, because it's not going to be to the level that the park is now. We don't have time to do it. We don't have the expertise, and we don't have the equipment to do what needs to be done. We've done a lot out there. Public Works has done a huge amount, clearing, grading, and all that. But when you start talking about getting stuff pad ready to pour concrete so that it's not cracking and falling apart when you do it, there's a lot of things out there that we need contractors to do. And this has been going on for 2 years, and we know we've seen 40–50% increases over the last 2 years. Looking at what we budgeted and what we planned during the budget and where we are now, even though it's a high number, it's not out of the normal. It's not for increases.
We've had a crazy economy.
And that's probably 60% of the cost increase.
So Sam, because this is your wheelhouse,
Yeah.
I got to ask the question. Project scope, you didn't anticipate some of this lack of expertise, in-house expertise?
I will say I may have questioned it in my mind. But when you tell me this is what I do, I can do that. And then somebody else says, no, you can't. You can't do that.
Yep.
We can't do what we thought we were going to do. And it's...
We've learned that in a lot of stuff, road building and other stuff too, that it's best to let the man that knows do it.
Yeah, but we don't normally start the project and then find that out. We know in advance we don't want to do roads, so we stay out of that business.
Well, we've had a change in leadership in that, so.
No question.
And I think that's part of it. We have a different set of eyes on it.
So for us and these cameras, what else needs to be done so we understand
Right,
where
we
that
need some
150 is
details.
going? Yeah.
Need details.
What we can't do is we can't pad ready that site to be ready to pour the concrete. So there was a lot of, and I hadn't got the list in front of me, but there's a list of items that we were going to do in-house.
So you appointed pad for what?
Sorry.
What was the pad going to be poured for?
The trail, the concrete
Okay.
trail, all that extends, that doubles the size of the existing trail.
And no rails or trails grant? Because I know you got part of one.
Most of this was grant funded, right, Jason?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. We just need additional funds for our
Yeah,
portion of it.
the grant funding was this.
Is that about 400K? I can't remember. You know,
throw
my
the
numbers
numbers
are
out,
fuzzy.
Jason.
It was 441 was the original budget, and so half of that would have been grant and half from us.
So the 220,000 that we were going to do in-house, probably 125, probably 40,000 of that is increase in price. So 80,000 of the 220 that we said we could do in-house, 80,000 of it we can't do in-house. So that's the raw numbers.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I just want an extra 150,000 for an overrun in 49 in Haddock. That's all I'm going to say. Just so we're clear.
There's a lot of people asking for amenities such as increased pickleball courts, splash pad, and other things
absolutely.
like that. So let's spread it around so everybody can centrally use it in the county. I think Dayline's smiling at what I'm saying because
Right.
we hear the request on a weekly, if not daily basis from our constituents.
I agree.
But the problem is, we can't start a project and not finish
This
it.
is motion. We're waiting on him.
Oh, motion to approve, Chairman.
We have a motion, we have a second?
Second, absolutely.
Second. Any more discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. I was waiting on a motion. I didn't know if there's any more
I thought we were
comments.
still discussing. I was waiting.
When you said amen, that means in our church, that means we agree.
We agree.
Amen. We'll see that 150. We agree. Praise the Lord.
I will move on to old business. Ms. Crystal, are you here tonight?
Yes. Can my business partner come with me?
Yes. Ms. Duggan, the board had a few questions on your beer and wine license, I think.
Holy cow.
Copier had an accident, looks like.
The copper
Anybody
went
have a
crazy.
good copy?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I got questions.
Oh, go ahead.
What does it say?
I think your questions were, you wanted to know exactly where it was located and what kind of business it was.
Okay.
It's located at 244 Sherlin Drive, Suite 102. It used to be the old Subway. You know,
49er? Okay.
Sherlin Drive, yeah. It used to be the old Subway. It's now a soul food / catering events place. Would you like to?
I want to come taste, but sure. So, okay.
We've been open since the 18th of last month,
Oh,
but we just can't serve alcohol.
I drive by there a little too fast, so I may not see it. I apologize.
I think y'all the only one in there right now, aren't you?
No, I have a tax office next door to it, and I just got 49 store.
Okay. I used to go in there when it was a Subway, but that's been quite some time ago.
You need to come try, we got you.
Long time. Okay. So the physical location was the only question? Anything else?
I think that's, y'all were questioning the location and what exactly they were doing.
Yeah. I think our question was that with the name of We Got You Events, seemed like it was an event instead of a brick and mortar
Yes.
location.
It's a brick and mortar location, and it's a soul food restaurant open from 11 to 7, Monday through Friday, and Saturday and Sunday we open until 5.
Yeah, that was my only question, is how, if it was an event or a caterer, it'd be more of a pour license or a bartender license, not a,
Gotcha. Background and everything else came back clear?
Yes.
Question to approve?
Well, I had a
Oh,
question.
sorry.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt the motion, but I have a question on number 11.
If you could do me this favor, the motion's on the table, we can second the
Yeah,
discussion.
Yeah.
All right.
You second for discussion, Mr. Wood?
I'll second it for discussion.
Okay, and now discussion.
All right, number 11 on the application, it says applicant or any employee of applicant at any time had a beer, wine, or alcohol beverage license revoked at any location, whether in the county or otherwise, and that box is checked yes.
No, I never have. I just got beer and wine license for 49 in my JC One Stop.
You filled the application out.
Oh, I didn't mean to.
Oh,
It's
Yeah.
supposed to be no.
you got yes, you had yes down there.
I'm sorry,
Should have been no.
it's no. I thought it was asking, do I currently have beer and wine license? That's what I thought it was asking, not revoked. Ms. Shannon can vouch for me. I just got beer and wine license.
Any other discussion? All right. Any more discussion on that?
No, sir.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Man,
That just helped us clarify some of it.
I'm a day late on that. I mean, Father's Day Sunday, I should've come on by there.
Give this to the ladies. Thank you. Thank y'all.
Thank y'all. Mr. Martin, you got a safe route to School Grant.
Mr. Chairman, and our citizens here. So, I coach cycling, and I'm in Baldwin, Jones, by the Edge, and Bibb County. And most of the times I'm in the schools, in the classrooms with the kids. And we just did Bike Ride Across Georgia, 452 miles of amazing riding by Jones County kids, Baldwin County kids, and they did a century in the middle of that. So after pedaling 200 miles from Atlanta towards Savannah and Swainsboro, they did another 100 miles just that day. And what we noticed, even riding locally before we got to that ride, there aren't a lot of safe routes for kids. If you think about Jones County, where our schools are located, there's no bike route, there's probably no sidewalk, and there's definitely not even a lane for kids to ride in. So there's some grand opportunities out there, and I just want the support of the board to pursue that with Baldwin County and any other party that wants to pursue it, because there's $1 billion out there for it, but in our local region, we know we're not going to qualify for that much. I know Bibb County got $500,000 for a planning grant, which I thought was great. But when we talked about connecting Clifton Ridge to Mattie Wells in the neighborhoods, you can get sidewalks, you can get the bike routes, you can get all of those things inside of the grant without the county having that as an expense. So would like to be able to pursue that, and just wanted to share that with the board and get permission to go ahead and go for it.
Yeah, 'cause we need some safe routes.
Absolutely.
And,
Keep y'all on the highway.
'cause I see somebody riding down the middle of Gray Highway, and that,
Yeah, I will say, Chairman, my day job, I work with people that are part of this bike group too, and when they first started, 10, 15 bikes, 10, 15 kids, you're trying to get bikes and work, and now you get to 30, you get to 50, you get to 100 kids here and there, and I mean, it's amazing the kids' attitudes, not just from getting a bike, but from learning how to work on it, being around mentors that teach them not just about the bikes, but about the ways of the world they should know,
Amen.
not what they shouldn't know. And we keep saying, if we don't reach them, the streets will. And I think I've seen it personally. It's a huge difference in so many kids that don't have that opportunity to learn things from people that care enough to get involved. Is the same people that they need to be around. Those kids need to be around. So, 1,000% support it.
absolutely.
Motion
You
to,
got a motion? Go ahead.
motion to approve pursuing of the Safe Routes grant.
Second.
Second. Discussion. If the board would like, I got plenty extra bikes. If y'all want to go with Daylon sometime, we can. That's how he got started, was a.
Took me on a ride on the bypass before it opened.
Oh, yeah.
I had to chase him. Holy cow, he could ride.
Yeah.
I'm better now, sir.
We talked about kids, Chairman.
Hey, they're big
But
kids.
board members could also,
Get involved.
Yes.
there's all size seats, so I'm just letting you know, I'm sure we can find something to fit you.
We need
Right.
coaches, absolutely.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Miss Ashley, I understand Miss Haley filled in for you last night, and you're filling her for tonight.
She went to the city for me last night, so I was at a training, and I'm here with y'all tonight. So I believe you've already been presented with the proposal for branding. What we are asking is for the city, the county, both to put in $25,000 towards this. Jones County Development Authority put in 10. It's actually $10,633. Main Street DDA put in that as well, and then the chamber. So we're hoping you guys will do the 25. I'm here to answer any questions y'all have too. I don't know how far you've
And
discussed
you said
it.
City last night tentatively approved it. It's going to be on their next.
Yes.
We had a presentation last time where we had the pamphlets and all, so,
I put it in your stuff.
I'm quite familiar.
But,
I think this is a great opportunity for us all to work together and come up with some branding for our community, have a story of who we are from the economic development standpoint that Haley and I both face. I think it's just wonderful for us to have something put together well for signage and just things to present to new businesses when they come in.
We've done talked this up several times, so.
Yep. What's the board want to do?
Motion to approve.
Second.
How would they involve?
Ashley, in terms of the timing, do you think, when do you think we would start paying the marketing firm? You think it would be after September 1 or before?
It could be.
Could
They're
be
willing
after.
to work with us as far as
Yeah.
that. Because I
Okay.
know those smaller entities, I believe, are going to maybe split some, because we're using some hotel motel funding for it. So we may pay some this year, some next year. So there's a little bit of room
I
with
think
that.
we talked at the chamber today, is that they're breaking up into 3 payments to accommodate the different budgets and whatnot, so.
If y'all wanted to, we could just put it into the FY '25 budget and just, it would just be, a line item there, so that you don't have to come up with the funding in this fiscal year. I mean, I think really once you get the process started and that type of thing, it'll probably be after that point before we had to pay anything anyway.
That's my understanding as well.
Right, we had motion, and do we have a second on it?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Kitchen. Any more discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
I have it.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
I look forward to working with y'all with this.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we talked about that in the chamber meeting this morning, and about the breaking it down and whatnot, and it's time. We need to get out there. Department heads. Mr. Risner, I think you're the only one. Everybody else done bailed on you.
I don't think I have anything else.
Wow. Citizen comments. I had a young lady. You want to come forward? And then anybody else would like to come forward, just introduce yourself and your address for the.
Good evening. My name is Amy Rockmo. I live at 148 Thurman Drive, Gray, Georgia 31302. My concern is the state police. Okay, it looks good what you done, but who gonna cut the grass and let it grow back up? That's one of my questions. And my other one is, why you can't open that gate 2 days before on special holidays, like the Father's Day? You open it that Saturday and that Sunday from 8 to 5. Those are my questions.
Yeah, I think we could do it all weekend on those weekends. I requested to have it open on Father's Day. Did you see by any chance if it was open on?
No,
Father's Day?
it wasn't open. It wasn't open Mother's Day.
Okay. It was on Father's Day.
Okay.
Open, but the chain is around it. For a single, it's hard. You have to drop the chain down, get out, and move the gate.
Okay.
And when you come back, you got to bring that gate back. That gate is heavy.
And it was that way on Father's Day?
It's that way every day.
Okay, okay.
Not Father's Day, every day.
They've got a dummy lock's what they've done.
But
When I went there, I went, the little opening there, and I walked around and I see that the grass need cutting.
Okay.
But just for us moving the gate, I didn't move the gate because I just saw the lock and I didn't mess with it. And I just like to know who cuts the grass or when they gonna cut the grass.
Our Public Works Department cuts the grass in there, and I'll let them know that it needs to be cut.
In around those graves, on the side where the dumpster, it's been a while
Okay.
since they've been cut.
Okay.
They look for it.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
talked to somebody from Chris. I asked Chris about it. When I went for Mother's Day, the grass was up to my knees.
Okay.
You know, where they do graves on the dumpster side. And Chris said he gonna cut the grass when he have time to cut the grass. I asked him the same question about how they growing up. Who gonna cut it before it get all the way up? It'll be more expensive when it get all the way up. I asked those questions too.
Okay.
We've got some grades we need to identify too that are actually being driven over right now. I think that road won't be complete, if we identify them and mark them, you're not gonna be able to go drive all the way through, because we got graves literally in the middle of that road right now that they
But
found.
they put markers there at those graves.
No, they're actually in the road. You wouldn't, I didn't realize until I pulled up and parked, And the gentleman was showing me how it worked, and he said, if you look under your truck, you've got 3 graves under your truck, and I'm like, and they're in front of the new section that we're talking, where we, you know,
Really?
that are actually they're running east and west, and there's one running, somehow there's got one that's sitting north and south that's not done right. But all three or four of them are there's more than that, isn't it?
I didn't get an exact count from him. I got the impression that it, you know, wasn't a huge number, but yeah.
But it goes across that road, because I didn't realize it, but I pulled up and met the gentleman that was doing the work out there, and he gave it to my attention. He said, if you'll look under your truck, there's graves under your truck, and I'm going, oh my gosh. And it was in the middle of the road, so something, you know, once we get, I think they're working on getting the rest of that wooded area mowed down to where they can go and check to make sure we don't have any other ones. And then we can go and ID them and make sure we're not disturbing the graves that are there. Because if you didn't know it was there, I mean, you drive right over.
I thought we authorized him to create a plan to maneuver around.
He's
those
probably still
spaces.
working on finishing that, but I want to back up to the accessibility of the property as far as the gate is heavy for anyone that's not used to handling gates a lot. It needs to be accessible for persons to get in. Think about your ADA and disabled or handicapped persons to being able to get into the property. You know, wheelchair lift, things of that nature. It needs to be, would you want to travel that far? You want to be able to drive into a safe parking area and not park on graves, but we need to think about accessibility in there.
Well, I was speaking of the gate being open, not me go there and open the gate.
Right.
I was speaking of being open. Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else tonight?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Evelyn Hill. I live at 165 Peach Street in Haddock, and I'm here in reference to the Haddock Park. Back in November of last year, we met with some of the county commissioners' town hall meeting, and you gave us some deadlines on when we might have some playground equipment. According to what I have in front of me, the construction of the playground was supposed to be spring of this year. Thursday will be the beginning of summer. Nothing has been done. We've had several events at the park. We had a church from Gray, I think it was Gray Community Church, had an event at the park. And it's kind of sad when you go in that park and you got, like I said before, you have 6 to 8 swings, you have 2 slides, and a basketball, and that's not a park. And then when I listen to you all talk about Liberty Park and increasing their budget, and then we're a little small park and we can't get anything, and these kids are out for summer now, and they need some place to go. We're talking about, you know, our kids not getting in trouble. How much time does it take to put some more playground equipment up there? So that's my concern. I was hoping not to have to come back.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood can answer.
Right, I'll help answer, and I'd like to get your number and give you an update tomorrow fully on when the date will be. But a number of weeks ago, a couple months ago, we approved a bid for $75,000 for additional playground equipment for the Haddock Park. And there was I don't have the dates in front of me of what time the completion date would be, but we're still within the time frame of what the awarded bidder would be working and completing that project. But I'm going to reach out to the department head, Bert Rosenberger,
Yes.
and get an update, and I'd like to call you tomorrow and provide that information to you.
I would love for you to call me tomorrow and let me know,
Okay, if I
because
could
the
get your
citizens in Haddock are
number.
concerned. You
Yes,
know, our
ma'am.
kids, we have kids that live right across from the park, and we had a graduation brunch at the park.
Yes,
And you have kids involved, and they don't have anything to do but just run around.
Right.
And like I said, it's not like we have a large park. This is probably the smallest park in the county. And I just feel like we're being slighted,
Yes, ma'am.
to be honest.
But the bid's been rewarded.
Right,
Like I said,
and
that was
right, the contract
last
is-
month or the month before last, wasn't it?
I believe it was in April, but there was a certain number of weeks that it was sometime in the summer that were supposed to be completed, and I'm hoping it's sooner than later.
Yep.
But
Well, like I said, it's
Do you have Ms.
based on what you all told us.
All right.
It's gonna start the spring, and tomorrow, Thursday's the first day of
Yes, ma'am.
summer.
If I can
And
get
nothing's
your-
been done. I'll give
If
you
I
my
can get your
phone
phone number, I'd love to give you a call tomorrow. Yes, ma'am. Thank
All
you.
right.
Got you right here.
Thank you, Ms. Hill. Anyone else, citizen comments? Any citizen comments? None? Commissioner Kitchens, you want to start off? There wasn't anybody. Did you have your hand up? Okay, Commissioner Kitchens? You want to start off?
Commissioner comments?
Yeah, Commissioner comment.
Chairman, the only thing I will say is happy belated Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I was fortunate enough to have all but one of my kids and grandkids at the house on Sunday. My dad, my father-in-law. It was a good day. Thank the Lord for all of it. So, I was a happy man Sunday.
I know the feeling.
I don't have anything tonight.
Commissioner Martin, you got some plaques and stuff, and do we had to recognize you for something over there?
You do. I was curious about this. It was a surprise.
I didn't see it in the agenda, but I see all those plaques and boxes. I said, what's Commissioner Martin done now?
I don't know, so I'm going to read it. It says Chairman's Citations. This certificate is proudly presented to Daylon Martin, a forward-thinking leader who embraced the future of electric transportation. Under his tenure, the coalition accelerated its efforts to install new EV infrastructure throughout the region. The coalition began incentivizing communities that invested in new infrastructure to help create a green corridor. Mr. Martin set the organization on the course to an electric future, awarded this 14th day of December 2023. Thank y'all.
And it wasn't riding a bicycle.
It wasn't on a bicycle at all. Thank y'all. You know, as a citizen, there are boards that you get to sit on, and as commissioners, there are boards across the state and region that we get to sit on. And I think I got nominated to go to that board by Mike Underwood because it was all the way out near Perry, and I drove. Back then, I had an 03 Escalade, and it was guzzling gas. And I felt kind of weird pulling up to an EV coalition meeting with the gas guzzler. So I ended up with a Nissan Leaf that I leased, an electric car, for a few years. And that motivated me to kind of maneuver around and ask for support from different areas to install EV charging stations. Tri-County was on board. They were the first to put one in really quickly. Mercer did it as well. I hope our sheriff will finally get there. Other departments across the country are doing it. But we also have to take the lead, and I know Sam is vice president right now. You're the secretary treasurer. Treasurer, all right. And so it has an important role in place. When VW got caught in their Dieselgate, the state of Georgia was awarded something like $50 million, and that money could have been spread around. And we advocated. We went to the governor's office. We went up to D.C. to advocate for different things. And unfortunately, Atlanta got electric buses. But our presence was felt, and they know that we exist, and they still are supporting an EV infrastructure across the state. So I'm appreciative of that and surprised. What is this?
You got something? I don't know. What's in the box? You're going to have to answer all these questions.
Okay. Oh, wow.
It's crystal ball.
Crystal ball.
Yeah, tell us what's next.
I don't know.
So your Corvette is electric?
No, not yet. Working on that. I don't know what the ball says, but maybe it goes together with it. I'm not sure. But no, I will have an electric car again. I'm just not exactly sure what until the prices come down a little bit more. Yeah, our dealership's got it decided. I had an F-150 on reserve, but when it went from 39 to 55, I was like, I'm not doing that. So, but I hope our county embraces that too. I know our enterprise leasing group does not really work in that capacity, but when we start looking at the budget, and I encourage citizens to do the same, we spend hundreds of thousands of dollars annually on fuel. And while our county is a large space, the bulk of the work that we do, is within 30 to 40 miles, and including the sheriff who might drive 300 miles a day. There are electric vehicles that do 300, 350, and we could save that fuel cost. And I hope that we start to embrace that. So thank you all.
All right, anything else? All right, I'm needing a motion to adjourn into executive session for real estate.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, aye? Aye. Thank everybody for coming. Appreciate you very much.